What just happened? The Mets had no business whatsoever to win this ball game, and Marky V said, let's go home, baby. Spam those W's in the chat right effing now. And everyone first chiming in live and on replay. The Mets go 0 for 13 with runners in scoring position until you get on with 2 outs with an 0-2 count to Harrison Bader. There in the 11th inning, Bader ties the ball game. Marky V wins it. How we feeling, Mets fans? Hype me up. Marky V, will he make an impact for the Mets? Will he just be here just to be a sitting duck for a couple days? The answer is no. The answer is Mark Vientos is here, baby. The Mets get a massive, and I mean massive win to salvage this series. They avoid the series sweep against those St. Louis Cardinals. Hype me up, baby. Spam those W's in the live chat right now. Happy to have you all in here. How's it going, Mets, Cardinals fans, whoever you're a fan of? It's your boy Wardy, and we're back at it with our latest post-game segment as we break down all the latest in Mets land here as they end up winning by a final score of 4-2 in extra innings in walk-off fashion. One of the biggest hits the Mets have had so far this season in a day where Jose Quintana gives you 8 innings of 1 earned run ball. You finally are able to get a victory. Yes, it's frustrating that he doesn't automatically get the win himself, but thankfully the Mets win a ball game where you get a pitching masterclass by one of your starters, in which your rotation has been anything but great so far this season with getting deep into games. Juice me up, baby. Hype me up. We're rolling the highlights as you see there. We're going to break down the game inning by inning, innings 1 through 9, rather 1 through 11, because this was in fact extra innings. Shout out to my amazing sponsors as always at Sober MLB and BetUS Sportsbook that has you covered with all your sports betting needs. Make sure to check them both out today by clicking the links down below. Thank you all so much in advance. We'll get into them more later. Frank with the $10 holla said it best. Vientos stays. Yes, he may very well after a game like this, folks. He may very well after an outing like this. And on top of that, if you're a Knicks fan, you saw all the hecticness in Philly. Joel Embiid tried to single-handedly destroy the entire Knicks roster injury-wise, but to no avail. Jalen Brunson with a career-high 47 points, a now Knicks playoff record as the Knicks try to win that series in 5. Knicks fans, let's get some hype. Let's get some love going. We got our Rangers game tonight, too, for all my New York sports fans out there. If you're not a fan of those teams outside the Mets, I apologize. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but what a crazy day in New York sports, and we're still just getting started, baby. Hype me up. Juice me up. What a massive victory here for the Metropolitans, as for whatever reason, give me 1 second, folks. Just want to see, I am in fact live here on Twitter. Perfect. Give me 1 second. I want to make sure that this is also going to be available for everybody that looks under the Mets tweet. So give me 1 more second, everybody. We'll break it all down together. But more than anything, everybody, continue to spam those W's in the chat down below. And thank you all so much in advance. What a victory. What a game. What a way to end the game after what felt like an inevitable 2-1 loss with, again, a lifeless Mets offense that could not hit against the St. Louis Cardinals. That was not the case, though. At least it wasn't in the end. When the Mets need a clutch up most, they got the job done, everybody. Spam those W's. Continue to spam them. I want to see. Greg, thank you for the donation. We'll get to that shortly, my friends. Shout out Mama Worm. Shout out everyone first chiming in. Guardians of Chaos, of course, great mod. Drew, great member. Kish, great member. Daniel, great member. All you guys and gals, BR. Max, great moderator as well. Sergio Soto, great member. Everybody, thank you all for being in here. Hype me up, baby. Let's get some hype going. This was a tremendous, and I mean tremendous, way for the Metropolitans to win said ball game. For Mark Vientos to have back-to-back games where 9th inning pinch hitting for Brett Beatty, hits himself a single opposite field, no less, and then he goes out for his second at-bat in the 11th and says, you know what, let's go home, baby. Let's wrap up this ball game. That is what I'm absolutely loving for Mark Vientos, and a limited sample size, taking advantage of the opportunities given to him. That is what you want to see from Marky V. That is what you want to see from this Mets team. And now, just like that, after a massive hit that we just saw from Mark, now you face greater questions if you're a Mets fan and Carlos Mendoza. What do the Mets do with Mark Vientos now? Once Starling Marte is back on the roster this Tuesday from the bereavement list, right? So, A lot of quick decisions need to be had, but I'm going to go on a limb and say, Marky V, this is the kind of performance, this is the kind of day that is so justified to warrant staying on the roster longer, especially if you're taking advantage in those limited sample sizes or building your confidence up. That is what we like to see. As long as we're not going to hurt your development too much and you're going to positively impact the club, there are justified reasons to have this man on the roster. And outside of course, the defensive reps that he'll find himself getting in Syracuse, outside of that, there really isn't much to justify Mark Vientos being sent down. And if you want to talk about a confidence killer, I firmly believe that would be the case if he is sent down yet again this Tuesday. So, I'm sorry, even if it's got to be Joey Wendell or whoever, someone not named Mark Vientos needs to be on the outside looking in with the way that he has performed the past 24 hours. He has done his job, he's been caught up right away, performing, and again, if it isn't for Mark Vientos, the Mets do not win this ball game. If it isn't for Mark Vientos, the Mets go below 500 already on the season and allow a Cardinals team, the effing Cardinals that we all know, again, it's the Cardinals, to somehow be at around 500. So no, miss me with that nonsense. Reed Garrett gets another win with the 0.61 ERA because he's one of the best relievers in Major League Baseball, not named Edwin Diaz. There are so many awesome takeaways from today's game. There's a lot of fluff in between, but it is once again headlined by Jose Quintana. It is headlined by Harrison Bader. It is headlined by Reed Garrett, and it is most importantly 100% headlined by not just Francisco Lindor, who tied the ball game earlier. Nice bounce back day for him, all things considered. But the big one is, yes, Mark Vientos. Greg, thank you so much for the donation. Greg says, obviously, I'm effing thrilled with what just happened. But earlier, I was looking at a change in batting average from 2022 to 2024. Nemo minus 61, Lindor minus 72, McNeil minus 82. Do we need a hitting coach? I mean, here's the thing. I love Eric Chavez, but there is that's still out to be kind of figured out if the Mets have the proper plate approach with their coaching staff, and how much of an impact does that have negatively or positively on them? It's a great question. I wouldn't buy too much into the first month of the season when evaluating these players' numbers as a whole when you look at 2022 and 2023, but I do see your point. Yes, there has been a commonality with many Mets hitters and batting below what their average norms are, and when you're doing it in unison, you're going to have greater problems. You're certainly not going to hit with runners in scoring position, which again is exactly why the Mets went the first 10 innings today of 0 for 13 baseball with runners in scoring position. So everybody, we're going to break it all down together, but I'm happy to have you all in here. Everyone watching live on a replay, thank you all so much. We're about to get into the innings again, breaking it all down. Innings 1 through 11 in this one. If you're first chiming in, again, the Mets win a massive one by a final score of, yes, 4-2 in extras. Let me just get these tags in there real quick, because trust me when I say that hashtags at times do make a big difference on Twitter. To all my Twitter followers as well, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to hit that like, that follow button, that retweet button. But know that, as usual, I will only be interacting with my YouTube viewers. So in case you guys want to interact in the chat with me, like our live viewers on YouTube are doing, make sure you subscribe to the WardyNYM YouTube channel or chiming in there as you guys usually do that we have seen throughout the weeks here so far this season. And again, love you guys to death. Kish, oh my goodness, Kish, with the 10 gifted. Wow, you get a membership. You get a membership. You get a membership. You'd think the schmuck is out here like Oprah Winfrey with the way that he's dealing these things. All jokes aside, Kish, thank you so much. That really does mean a lot. It's a great way to support the channel. Shout out as well to D-Raptor, Kevin Cruz, everybody, Jimmy, let's see here, MB Spartan, Kevin, everybody, all you guys, you get all memberships. Tim Welsh, Sky, Brandon, I hope you guys are chiming into the live stream today, because great things, magical things happen, and that certainly did just happen thanks to our great friend, longtime follower, longtime member, great friend on the channel, and Mr. Kish. Thank you so much as well for the 10 memberships. That really, really, really does mean a lot. And to everyone that just became new channel members, happy to have you all in here. Hope you guys enjoyed the little perks. The thing that I still need to change is those damn emojis when we do our live streams, because you guys don't want to use Max Scherzer or Buck Showalter emojis. You want to use, obviously, everyone that's on the active team, and that's my fault. I will get on that, but I appreciate that. Thank you so much again, Kish. Love you to death, brother. Really does mean a lot. Yoshima with the $5 holla. Yoshima says, that series maybe wants to rip my hair out, but we got the finale W. Yes, we did, and that was the most important thing, everybody. So, folks, let's break down the ball game together. Let's get through innings 1 through 11, but before I do, oh my goodness, another gifted. What? And with the 5 gifted as well. We're feeling generous after a walk-off Sunday. I'm very grateful. I wish I was Mark VIENTOS, so at least it's justified why I'm getting these nice things. I'm not just a schmuck talking about it. But thank you so much as well. And another great member just gifted. Doc, you are now a member. Milo Mitchell, longtime supporter, you are a new member. D, you are now a new member. Edward, you are now a new member. B Watts, congratulations to everybody. We got 15 new members in the chat right now, thanks to 2 awesome supporters on the channel. Thank you all so much for that. Greatly appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoy everything, all my new members, and stay tuned because we will be getting all those things updated for you guys this season sooner rather than later. But again, shout out again to my awesome followers at Kish and Ann. You guys are the absolute beauties of the show. Really does mean a lot. And man, oh man, that really touched me. Thank you guys so much. You made my Sunday. The walk-off's one thing. You guys supporting the channel and being absolute beauties the way that you are means more to me than you could possibly imagine. You're amazing too, Ants. Happy to have you in here, my man. Thank you again, everybody. You're the best. But now let's break down the ball game, folks. I don't want to waste too much time. You guys gave me so hyped up after this walk-off victory thanks to Marky V. Marky VIENTOS says, let's go home, baby. But before we get there, a couple key updates I have to share with you all in case I didn't discuss them already. One, Josh Walker, who's looked brilliant out of the Mets bullpen over these past couple outings, was sent down prior to today's game. Not just because he ate innings yesterday, so naturally he wasn't going to be made available today, and that's why Danny Young, the southpaw, was called up there. He did not pitch for the Mets. David Pearson, remember him? Yes, the southpaw is looking to kick up and really get back into the swing of things there with the Mets, as he will be having his first rehab assignment today in Port St. Lucie, Florida, for the Mets there, as he still gets ramped up, and it will be returning to either this Mets rotation or bullpen or some capacity there when he can be made available as soon as May 27th off the injured list. The same date applies for Kodai Senga. And speaking of Kodai Senga, Kodai is going to be facing, if I'm not mistaken, the high A Brooklyn, why am I blanking so hard? The Brooklyn Cyclones. He's going to be facing those Mets internal batters this Monday, and will be pitching around 25 pitchers or so. Jose Quintana with the masterful outing that we're going to get into in a second. But in case you're first chiming in, again, thank you guys all so much for the gifted. Daniel with the gifted! Can you guys let me talk about the game? Oh my goodness! What is going on? 20 gifted in the show today. Daniel, who has been tremendous with the generosity in the past that we've seen. Dave, of course, my longtime great friend and follower and member here. Thank you so much for being here. You're absolute beauty. Dave Kaplitz, love you, brother. Ants gets the membership. Raphael gets the membership. Lambo gets the membership. You get a membership. You get a membership. Thank you so much. Daniel, you absolute beauty. You huge G on the channel. You guys have no idea how much that means to me. Seriously, you have no idea, guys. Every little cent matters, especially on my end. I got a kiddo coming this summer, so trust me, guys, this all either goes back in the channel or this goes to diapers. That's literally all it's going to. It only goes back to those things. So thank you guys again. Love you to death. Now let's break it down. But finally, you know what, finally, one final thing I'll do. One final thing I'll do, then we'll get to the game. I know that the replay viewers are going to be pissed about this. I'm sorry. I'm broke. You guys are so funny. Let's break down our official post-game jingle.
Post-game. Post-game. Calling all Met fans, come and join us now. Talking about this game and gonna break it down. It's Mets post-game.
Shout out to my amazing friends and followers, Greg and Jordan, for the jingle per usual. If you know, you know. Absolutely had to rip the post-game jingle after a big dub like this. And the camera's focused. All right, let's break it down. I love you guys, but stop. If you're going to throw any more memberships in there, by all means, please do so. But just wait until after I break down the ball game, because your boy can't take it anymore. First, a walk-off W. Then you get 5. Then you get 10. Then you get 5. I do have a P.O. Box, B. Watts. It is in the description of the live show here on YouTube. Thank you so much in advance for whatever you might send my way. That really does mean a lot. You guys are amazing. You really are. But let's break down the ball game, everybody, folks. All right, it starts there in the first. Contreras with a double and Goldie with a walk. Let me tell you this, folks. Jose Quintana, who gave up, I believe, 5 over 5 in his last start. Again, putrid last outing, not looking great. Needed a bulldog outing today. The Mets need a bulldog outing today, especially after what we have seen again in just recent starts from Adrian Hauser, who I never want to see in this Mets rotation again currently, or what have you. For Jose Quintana to have a roughly 30-pitch first inning and go all the way till the 8th and conclude the 8th is amazing. It is amazing the way that he shut down these Cardinals batters after that start. And then as we get to the second, because of course, trust me when I say, the Mets didn't hit a lick today. They had 8 hits to the Cardinals 4, but again, they had a 277 expected batting average. They had some elite defense led by Brendan Donovan in left field. That schmuck stole more hits and more runs than I feel like I've ever seen in one sequence of a game whatsoever. Brendan Donovan, give him a platinum glove in left field if you haven't already, and keep that man far away from Citi Field. I never want to deal with him again. He was robbing so many hits with elite defensive plays that all I can do is sit there, tip my cap, and be pissed off that it happened. No less, Newbar there with a double in the second, but that's all she wrote. The Cardinals don't score. In the bottom of the second, DJ Stewart with a walk. Donovan robs Mr. Tyrone Taylor of a hit. McNeil with a single, and then Harrison Bader with a double play would end the inning. In the third, we get Jose Quintana with a 1-2-3 inning, which is what we love to see. In the bottom of the third, we see Tomas Nido is robbed of a double by, yes, you guessed it, Mr. Brendan Donovan. We then get to the fourth, another 1-2-3 inning for Jose Quintana, because of course he does. In the bottom of the fourth, Francisco Lindor with a walk and a stolen base. The first of 2 times he will be stealing a bag today. Unfortunately, nothing to show for it there, because God forbid the Mets could try to produce runners in scoring position. I know it's a tall task. I'm well aware of that. Let's see. I'm spamming the jingle. You'll love to see it, Eric. So many amazing members in here. Thank you guys all so much again for the gift of today. It really, really does mean a lot to me, everybody. You guys are absolute beauties. But as we break it down further here, in the 5th, we get Wynn with a double. Of course, Mason Wynn has been off to a roaring start as the rookie, commanding shortstop each day for the Cardinals, continues to exemplify the great young talents that he has. Wynn gets himself a double, and Siani, again, the speedster, with an RBI sac bunt, reaches because of a Beatty error. Beatty just couldn't handle the ball right away on a small sac bunt. Would he have even gotten the throw in time? If he did, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe he would have. Either way, the runner still comes to score, and it's a 1-0 ball game in the Cardinals' favor in the 5th. In the bottom of the 5th, the Mets try to respond. They put some effort in. Bader with the single. Beatty with an opposite field double. Thankfully, Donovan doesn't catch it and goes for a ground rule double. And with runners on second and third with 1 out, surely the Mets can at least get an RBI sac fly to bring in a runner, or even squeeze him with the bunt. No, of course they couldn't. The Mets go down from there, and they do not score. They're down 1-0 as we head to the 6th. In the 6th, Francisco Lindor says, you know what? I understand that I had a terrible game yesterday, but let's make up for it a little bit today. And let's make up for it with an absolutely beautiful at-bat against Lance Lynn, a 9-pitch at-bat where he gets a 92 heater up and away in the zone. Francisco Lindor, who struggled mightily to lift the ball when it's been high in the zone. He's been very much a low ball hitter that we have seen not only throughout his career, but early on this season. He rips a, center left home run to give the Mets a tied ball game. It is 1-1 there in the 6th. Thank you, Francisco. The Mets desperately needed that. And then as we get on afterwards, Alonso with the walk, DJ with a single, so surely the Mets are going to convert there and get the lead in the 6th after the Lindor nice home run. Unfortunately, they don't, as a reliever comes in and shuts the door from there. Then we advance to the 7th inning, where Jose Quintana in the 7th, the first Mets starter this season to go to the 7th inning, gets himself a beautiful 1-2-3 inning. Then in the 8th, with 2 outs, Jose Quintana, guys, is trying to conclude something no other Mets starter has done this year. Go 7 innings. No, let's go 8 innings even. And as Carlos Mendoza tries to pull the man out of the game after facing back-to-back lefty batters to set him up for Wilson Contreras, who's been tearing the cover off the ball all season long and against the Mets in this series, Jose Quintana says to Mendy, I got this. Go back. And Mendy, the rookie manager, I got to give credit where credit's due. That's a situation where, a lot of them are more textbook and stubborn. He wasn't there. He has a great feel for the game, which is why he doesn't take as much notes as he uses the eye test with everything he does, because he has all the information he gets, of course, from Gibby and from others there, and of course from top down from David Stearns from the front office being sent down pre and during the game, I'm sure. But okay, he goes and challenges Wilson Contreras, and what does Jose Quintana do? He strikes his ass out to end his game and to have a final line as follows, everybody. Just look at this thing of beauty with me. Jose Quintana, 8 innings of 3 hit, 1 earned run ball, 3 Ks with a 3.5 ERA on the season. For a Jose Quintana that struggled as much as he did in his last start and has labored to go deep into ball games, has struggled to command the strike zone. As we know, the walks have been through the roof to kick off the season. Can we all please give a round of applause to Mr. Jose Quintana, what was a masterful outing? Without that today, the Mets bullpen is not saved as much as it is, then the Mets probably lose because you're not going to get great pitching the way that Jose Quintana gave you today on an everyday basis. So everybody, can we please give a round of applause? Let's share some love. Let's share some appreciation for Jose Quintana having a masterful outing. You'll love to see it. YouTube automatically hides it. Yes, that is true, Eric. But yes, I don't know what's going on in the chat, everybody, but everything's fine. Eric Roper, great new member here as well. Appreciate you. Love it. Thank you so much. Hopefully everything's good in the chat. But yes, that is in fact true. If you do swear, sometimes YouTube will hide the comments before the moderator even gets there. That is in fact true. And I do have muted words on the channel so that way you guys aren't saying the most outlandish and ridiculous things that are going to hurt the channel. That also is true. Yes. 1200, thank you for the $2 donation. 1200 said Zapucky would have shut these bums out if you know, you know. Long time inside joke, but it keeps running. 1200. Hope you're doing fantastic, my friend. Thank you for the membership. AZ with the $2. Holla. AZ says Marky V walks it off. Mets W. Put it in the books. You said it best, baby. Put it in the books. Let's all do our Mr. Howie Rose impression today. We love it, baby. We love Gary. We love everybody there. It doesn't matter. Gary, Keith, Ron, Howie, even the other ones, and Keith, Rad, and McCarthy, they get the job done too. I love it. Give me all the wordplay every day of the week. Vientos just got called back. Great job. You love to see it. 100% James, now a new member. It's so bizarre because of all the gifted. The majority of the live show are members. And guys and gals, for my replay viewers too, if you guys want a chance to be members on the channel, if you guys want a chance to enter giveaways where we give away stuff during our live shows, make sure you guys have your notification bell on. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because that way you will not miss out on anything and everything live show wise here in WardyNYM as we come at you with post-game coverage after every single game. Pre-game coverage will be at a more consistent basis starting this week, so be on the lookout for that and everything in between. All things Mets related is what we have you is what we'll be covering here on the channel per usual. And thank you all so much. And pardon me, I'm having tongue twisters here. Thank you all so much for the love. It really does mean the world to me. But as we talked again, Jose Quintana got the job done there, and Mr. Edwin Diaz would too. But before we break that down, let me just double check the notes here, because in the bottom of the 8th here for the Mets here, Francisco Lindor with a walk and a stolen base. Second time he's done that today. Pete Alonso with the walk. Mets have runners on first and second already. Taylor gets on with a fielder's choice wide because Lindor is thrown out at home, sliding head first into Wilson Contreras. He's a little roughed up, but he stays in the game. He's fine. For the people, I got asked this question a lot. Why was there no call on Wilson Contreras for blocking the plate and blocking the runner's path? The reason why there was no call, everybody, is because one, that wasn't as egregious as maybe initially looked, and two, Lindor was out by a mile. Mason Wynn had the relay throw there to Contreras so early, Contreras could have at least read one chapter in a book before tagging Lindor out. And I'm not even exaggerating all that much. It was a clear out every single day of the week. They're not going to call that a block in that situation, especially when he was blatantly out as obvious as he was. Even if Lindor was sliding feet first, he would have more than likely been out by a decent amount of time. So that goes in hand with why the decision was the way it was. That's from my understanding, at least. Anything beyond that, I have no comment at this point in time, but I did want to share that with you all. Let's hear. The Ghost of Bob Murphy says, back with the happy recap, says Alex in the chat. I love that. I do. Give this man a thumbs up. No days off. Never. No days off. We grind. Darren, my absolute beauty of a friend, the best Mets fan you'll ever meet from the UK. Wardy, Marky V with the absolute scenes. You said it best, brother. You absolutely did. And as we break down the ball game here further, everybody, of course, shout out to my amazing sponsors at BetUS and Sorare MLB, who have you covered. Sorare MLB has you covered all your MLB fantasy game needs, and BetUS has you covered all your sportsbook needs. A little bit later on them here in the show. But As we then get on to the ninth inning, folks, where again, the Mets are not able to score after, again, Lindor is out in the bottom of the eighth. Another reliever comes in. McNeil's a soft ground out lefty to end the inning by first. McNeil didn't have great at-bats today at all. But again, that's been the story of the Mets season. This offense as a whole has been so Jekyll and Hyde early on. They're looking great, then they're looking terrible. They're looking great, then they're looking terrible. There really has been no in-between for the most part. But in the ninth, Edwin Sugar Diaz strikes out Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt like it's nothing. Why? Because he's an absolute dog. Then he gets a quick pop-up of an out on Burleson, and that does it for the inning. Edwin Sugar Diaz continues to look brilliant, and the velo was a little up today, guys. For those that are wondering, the velo was up, did touch 98 today too. So for anyone that is concerned there, I don't have any concern levels. You don't need to absolutely unload the complete gas tank every time you're out there. Just make sure you get quality outs, and that's what Edwin is doing, and that's what I'm happy to see. In the 11th, however, we would see there, in the bottom of the 10th, as the Mets try to score, Lindor moves Nimmo, who of course starts the inning at second base. Actually, I'm sorry. Let me backtrack. I'm all out of sorts here. I apologize, everybody. Let me refresh myself. This is what happens when you rant and are just nonstop the way that I was throughout the game. What's up, Kevin? Great member. Happy to have you in here. Happy to have all my members and live and recurring viewers in here. As always, new ones too. In the ninth, we talk about Diaz. In the bottom of the ninth, Mark Vientos again for a second straight day comes in as a pinch hitter for Brett Beatty. And Mark Vientos, of course, takes advantage with an opposite field single. Afterwards, again, the Mets are trying to score to walk this one off in the ninth. You see there, Vientos with the pinch hit single. JD Martinez would fly out as a pitcher today. JDM coming off the bench. So, I saw a lot of people freaking out about that pregame today in the lineup announcement. Guys, if you know JD Martinez, if you pay attention, then you know very, very well that, yes, you are not going to see JD Martinez every single day of the week. He's on average going to start every 2 or 3 games because he's still trying to make sure that the back is okay. The last thing we want is for JD Martinez, that, again, is still getting adjusted early on the season, to hurt his back more than the current ailments he deals with. So if he has to, come off the bench at least 1 game out every 3 for a little bit, that's okay if it's going to make sure it keeps him healthy. The Dodgers did this with JDM last year, too, after his cortisone shot. He didn't bat every single day at DH. He had some off days and had some days where he came off the bench. So for anyone wondering why exactly that is, again, he's 36 with a bad back, and he swings at everything. He's a free swinger, but he's a tremendous slugger regardless. So that goes in hand with why he came off the bench today. He, of course, had a fly out there. Unfortunately, the Mets could not score in the ninth. So as we then get on to the 10th inning, I want to make sure I don't miss anything in the chat here. I don't believe I did. As we then get on to the 10th inning, we see Reed Garrett allows a runner to get to third base with less than 2 outs, but that's all she wrote. Reed Garrett with another bulldog outing there in the 10th inning, which was huge. And in the bottom of the 10th, Lindor moves Nimmo to third base again because you're moving the automatic runner from second. Mets have a runner at third with only 1 out. Alonso with a walk. DJ Stewart with a double play, having to face lefty on lefty. And Libertone, however you pronounce the guy's last name. He gets the key out. DJ, of course, had to be utilized there instead of a pinch hitter because the Mets already utilized all their right-handed pinch hitters there that we saw in the 9th inning with Mark Vientos and with JD Martinez. Vientos stays in the game, and that would be massive because as we get to the top of the 11th, everybody, Donovan with an RBI single. He is then out between first and second base with the base running, but he drives in the second run of the day for the Cardinals, which is very frustrating. But when you had the speedster there and Ciani on second base for the Cardinals, we were kind of doomed to begin with. So Cardinals take a 2-1 lead after Wilson Contreras gets a walk because he would then be out with poor base running, rounding after first, going to second base, rounding second, thinking it's 2 outs. It's not. And thankfully, the Mets double him up there to end it only down by a run. And that'll be huge as we then get to the bottom of the 11th, as we all saw and all witnessed with our very eyes, fellow Mets fans, the following. Taylor moves DJ to third base. DJ Stewart, one of the slowest Mets, not named JD Martinez, currently on the roster, is there at second base as the automatic runner, gets shifted to third base. Afterwards, with 2 outs, Harrison Bader on an 0-2 count gets a high heater, and he takes full advantage. He slaps that bad boy right back at him up the middle, and that gives the Mets a tied ball game. Harrison Bader absolutely juiced up to clutch up against his former team that traded him. And then we see Marky V there with the heroics, as you see in the highlights, as I just mentioned. Mark Vientos then with a no doubt opposite field 2-run home run walks it off for the Amazons, and they win by a final score of 4-2. Guys and gals, by a show of hands, and for people watching on replay, I would love to see your comments down below too. How many of you think that this is either the best Mets game that they've had so far this season in walk-off fashion, or where would you rank this Mets game? Between Jose Quintana's brilliance, the horrendous runners in scoring position ordeal for the vast majority of the game, to the walk-off fashion with a young Mark Vientos, who again is trying to establish himself at the big league level. On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you rate today's walk-off victory as the Mets salvage their series against the St. Louis Cardinals and now go back one game above 500 and what would have been a game below 500 had they faltered and been swept by these same Cardinals? Dave, thank you so much for the $5 donation. Dave in the chat says, Tyler, go on May 11th, please. I know, brother. May 11th is the day before Mother's Day. I certainly do want to be there. I can't guarantee right now that I will be there, but I have already been trying to make things happen to be there. Not just for you, Dave, but because that's an awesome game to go to, and that's an awesome weekend to make it happen. So, as I told many Mets fans already, I will be attending games for the first time starting in May this season, everybody. My goal is to have some fan meetups as well, and also do some awesome tailgates and pregame stuff too. I'm not saying that's going to happen the first game or two I attend, but that is stuff that I certainly plan on doing as we get deeper into summer, especially when hopefully the Mets are playing their best regular season baseball, most entertaining baseball, and again, everyone's out, everyone's having a great summertime. But yes, May 11th, I'm going to try my best to be there, Dave. Thank you so much for the donation. LFGM, you have to go. I also got some merch for you. All right. I mean, if you're tying my hands up, then I guess I got to go. I will do my absolute best to be there, brother, as always. James, hi, were you just wondering, why don't you do play-by-play like your first year? The reason why I don't do watch parties consistently is because there's no, truthfully, transparently, there isn't a financial turnout to do watch parties as consistently because there's no shelf life with them as soon as the games are over, and the Mets play a lot of bad baseball games, and there's not going to be a lot of interest there to do them consistently. I will be doing watch parties again this year, but it will be more on a once-a-week basis than a everyday post-game coverage type thing. On top of that, I simply don't have the time to consistently do watch parties anymore, especially once the kiddo is there, because that's, a solid 2.5 hours that I'm investing enough watching the game, focusing and editing for post-game coverage. It's too much to do it every day with watch party, and the turnout from viewership to the financial end, as someone who does this for a living, it just isn't there, unfortunately. So every once in a while, once a week or every 2 weeks or, multiple times a week, it'll vary as we get that going. But to answer your question, that is why we don't do watch parties as much, because there just isn't turnout on short shelf life for a 162 season the way that there at least is with post-game coverage and pre-game coverage. There might not be much shelf life, but it's a nice fun build up prior to the game that I know a lot of you viewers tend to enjoy, and so far it has turned out to be a fairly good amount success rate wise, and you're getting around the same amount of viewership at times that you will even in a watch party when it's multiple hours shorter. So you got to take those wins as they come. Nolan L, great member as well. L, let's effing go, Wardy. Absolutely love the hype, love the chat from all you guys. So you can become popular where your time is cut and one. I don't know what you meant by that, Daniel, but I appreciate the love no less. Far cry from when he was sent down. He was peeved. He needs to hit in the clutch 100%. And you could see Vientos really roared after that one with a lot of frustration. A lot of frustration. BJ the Kid with a great question for us all. How the F are they going to send Vientos down? Here's a simple answer. I don't think Vientos will be sent down. I think if Vientos is sent down on Tuesday, I'm going to absolutely riot. And the reason why is because Mark Vientos has done everything you could ask for him, and clearly he's building a confidence now by getting these kind of big hits. And we also know that Vientos can thrive in platoon situations. I don't love the idea of platooning your players. It goes against the idea of trying to build them and develop them properly. But for a Mets team that's trying to, of course, find their best ways to win each day, if they can find a formula with Vientos being involved where he's not being terribly impacted negatively on the defensive end and he is contributing offensively, even if that's in the limited sample sizes, that's okay, So it's going to be interesting to want to follow. But if I'm a betting man right now, and I am with our amazing sponsor at BetUS that we're going to get into shortly, then I'm going to say that, yeah, I don't see Mark Vientos being sent down this Tuesday. I just don't see how you justify it after the way that he's been playing. Once you become a father, your free time is cut in half. Oh, 100%. 100%. 100%. Yes, and that's why I already have things mapped out a certain way. Of course, you guys might see me a little less at times, but the content really won't be less. You guys are just going to see other people on the channel outside of just me this year for pretty much the first time ever, where you have other awesome, amazing Mets fans hosting either some post-game coverage or certainly some watch parties and pregame coverage because I'm too busy dealing with the baby. And that happens, and that's okay. So we're going to keep this thing rolling. Trust me, things are only going to continue to grow and get better and better here on the WardyNYM platform, everybody. Let's see here. My favorite games is Tyler. We got 9, we got 8, we got 2, says Snakes. He's probably fed up until the very end. I'm going May 11th. Awesome, Alan. So hopefully I'll see you there as long as I'll be there. Today was my favorite this season. A 10, a 4, an 8, a 6, a 10. People actually thought Cardinals were going to sweep the Mets. I mean, look, the Mets were this close to being swept. Let's keep it a buck. I'm not surprised that people actually thought that, if we're being real here. But again, though, maybe that's just me. Let's see. Let me make sure I didn't miss any other key donations either. No, I don't believe I did. Thank you all so much for the donations, for the memberships, guys. Again, it really does mean the world to me, everybody. But before we break down more about the ball game, actually, let's take a moment. Pardon me, let's take a moment and look at the hitting stats here briefly, everybody, okay? As we see, the hitting stats is as follows today. Brandon Nimmo, 0 for 5. He's now batting .202 with a 681 OPS. Francisco Lindor, 1 for 3, of course, with the home run. .202 average, 666 OPS. That is unholy. I don't like it. Pete Alonso, 0 for 2 with the 3 walks. 248 average, 841 OPS. DJ Stewart, 1 for 4 today with a run scored. 204 average and an 814 OPS, including 1 walk. DJ entered today's game with a 200 average and a roughly 400 OBP. So again, he's doing some Kyle Schwarber things right now by just getting on base and hitting bombs or going gap to gap and not much in between. Tyrone Taylor, 0 for 5 today. Not a great day for Tyrone, batting 5th, but that's okay. You're not going to be sharp every day. Also got robbed at least once there by Brendan Donovan in left field. Taylor, 293 average with a 771 OPS. Jeb McNeil, 1 for 5 today. 242 average, 658 OPS. Harrison Bader, 2 for 5 with the clutch game time RBI there in the 11th inning. 275 average and a 639 OPS. Brett Beatty, 1 for 3 today with the opposite field double, which was a nice improvement. Nice to see that. 256 average, 639 OPS. Mark Vientos, 2 for 2 in the 9th and then the 11th inning, batting a cool 750 with a 2,250 OPS thanks to the 2-run home run. Love to see it. Tomas Nido, 0 for 3, 214, 767 OPS. I expect those offensive numbers to continue to go down, even though I love Nido. And I will say Nido took some really nice swings today. He got robbed by Donovan as well of a double. And again, Nido's looking good. Like, Nido isn't looking completely lost out there that we've seen in previous times with him. JD Martinez with the pinch hit, nothing to show for it. Omar Narvaez didn't have an at-bat. And Jose Quintana, as we mentioned, everybody on the pitching end, was brilliant with the 8 innings of 1-run ball. Edwin Diaz with a sub-1 ERA. Reed Garrett gets his 5th win of the season, folks, which is so nuts. You'll love to see it. 0.61 ERA. Who would have thought, who had on their bingo card Reed Garrett giving us 5 wins and masterful play so far this season for a guy that we had no intention of, we had no expectation rather of this man impacting this bullpen nearly to the degree that he is. I mean, a lot of people didn't even think that he was going to be in the bullpen at any point this season, right? It's insane the kind of production that he has been having. So shout out to Reed Garrett, just absolutely disgusting with everything but the forcing fastball touches 96, which is great, but not having that as your put-out pitch is huge. And when you're working the slide piece, when you're working the splitty the way that he is, man, great things are happening. So shout out as always to Reed Garrett, who looked once again masterful today with his arsenal, which again is headlined not only by we talk about the four-seamer that went from being his most dominant pitch because of how much he's labored to now his 4th pitch in his arsenal. The slide piece, the sweeper, again, they vary a little bit. The sweeper a little bit slower there, and the splitty, and that sinker when he has it in the back pocket too. Love me some Reed Garrett every single day of the week and on Sundays, including a day like today. Let me see here. I did see a big donation. Thank you so much, GD, with the $20 holla. GD says, firm believer that baseball gods won't let us advance and win games like we know we should until we stop being hot cold with the young guys and are trying to force and lame temps like Wendell. Keep them in. It's why we stuck in 2023. I'm with you, GD. Literally, I'm with you. I have no problem Mark Vientos staying on this roster right now. I think that absolutely should still be the case, and I agree with you wholeheartedly there. Thank you so much for the donation, my friend. Happy to have you in here. As always, let's go Mets, baby. You picked up Mark Vientos and So Rare. That's awesome because I got Mark Vientos and So Rare too. And I got an awesome rare card of his as well. So I'm going to be having that in the lineup ASAP, everybody. And you know what? That is a perfect transition, folks. Let's get into our amazing sponsor on the channel here at So Rare MLB, guys. Because beginning again tomorrow we're going to be starting a giveaway with our awesome sponsor at Soarer MLB. And in case you guys and gals don't know the game, just to brief you real quick, Soarer MLB is the best MLB fantasy game out there. You can play on your phone, you can play with your friends, you can buy, sell, and trade actual, again, unique cards that you have on the blockchain. So they're legit cards that you have, of course, an NFT virtual format there, but you can buy, sell, and trade for real dollars the way that I have with the VIENTOS card that I personally have. And you can enter weekly tournaments, building your team, same way that you would in, say, MLB The Show, right? Where you're building your team, you're being your own GM, and you're playing against friends or playing against all people across the globe. As you enter weekly tournaments, there's at least 2 tournaments each week, every 4 or 5 days or so. You enter your team, and how the players actually perform in real life is how your team performs in said tournaments. If you do well in these tournaments, depending on your rankings, you will then win cash prizes, you will win jerseys, tickets, and everything in between. They have so many awesome offers here with Soarer MLB today, folks. And tomorrow, we're going to be officially drafting our team together and getting things started for the season. I'm going to live draft my team on stream for the next post-game coverage, and then we're going to go through it from there. And then you guys and gals, all you have to do to sign up, again, is to click the link down below today. And if you sign up and just, again, draft your team, enter at least the Common All-Star Tournament, you will automatically be entered for your chance to win Mets tickets that we will be giving away by the week's end, and we're also going to be giving away some cash prizes to the top winner potentially, and the cash will be in a form of Soarer MLB currency, so you can use that to buy and upgrade your team and have more upgraded cards. The cards are dope. They vary from, say, you know, uncommon all the way to like super rare. They have every different ones in between that, again, if you say have a really rare card of a player, if he hits a home run, you're going to get a lot more points with that card versus a common card. So just to show you guys the differences, again, there's an incentive to not only build your roster, but to get better cards than, say, common ones, so you have a leg up against your opponents. But you can also enter tournaments that have you around the same wavelength of other people when it comes to the kind of players and cards that they have, so that way you're not completely blown out of the water. As, say, a guy has a really stacked team and say you have more common cards. No, you can play against people at your level, at your pace, and again, at ease in the app today, or of course by playing on desktop. So again, Mets tickets we will be giving away starting this week. We're going to be drafting our official team together tomorrow, barring any changes. We'll be doing the giveaway by the week's end. So be on the lookout. We're going to be picking at least 4+ winners, so you guys have a great chance to enter. We had 100, I think we had around 1,000+ people enter and did this with us last year, where we played together and just did our respective tournaments. So hopefully we can get up there again this year. So much fun with Soarer MLB, and again, shout out to them once more. That has you covered again with all your MLB fantasy needs. Trust me when I say that, MLB fantasy in general is fun, but it's a hell of a lot more fun when you're playing it in this kind of manner. And there's no other format out there like this right now, which is what makes it that much more appealing. So shout out to Soarer MLB once again, as always, folks. And before we get on to breaking down more on in the ball game, give me 1 second, everybody, as I'm just trying to pull something up at the moment. Having some difficulties, so let me see if I can do it myself. If not, no worries. Baby wasn't born yet, Jonathan. No, not yet. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me something I don't know. No, Baby Wardy is not here yet, but once Baby Wardy is here, trust me, you guys and gals will all know about it. We'll be doing an exciting announcement and all that kind of stuff. But for whatever reason, I don't know why I'm having such a difficult time. Okay, finally, again, I don't know why it took forever there. But now, guys, we talked about Soarer MLB. Now let's talk about our great friends at BetUS. For those that don't know BetUS, BetUS is America's #1 sports book. They have you covered again with all your sports betting needs. And I hope you guys absolutely hammered Mets money line today. I know it would have been a nail biter to say the least, the same way if you say hammer the Knicks money line. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And for my sports bettors that know how to bet responsibly, come in with me as we're going to play some bets, of course, as we look at the slates today. And actually, as I remember, I did do a 3-pick parlay yesterday. I did not have the Mets in it because I didn't want to have any heavy bias in there. But as we look ahead, for the remaining slates today, everybody, we got the Chicago Cubs versus the Boston Red Sox. The Cubs got absolutely lit up yesterday. We got the Washington Nationals and Miami Marlins starting there on Monday. So let's emphasize just the final game that we got today. Let me double check and see what the pitching slates are, because depending on who's pitching is going to go in hand with my decision. And if you would like to tail the pick that I'm going to have today, by all means, go ahead. If you don't, that's completely fine too. All right, we got Wiesenski there starting for the Cubs, and we got, Mr. Tanner Houck for the Boston Red Sox. Need I say more? I love me some Tanner Houck. The same way how Zach Wheeler and Jacob deGrom if you see them side by side, have the same exact arsenal, same release points and everything. Tanner Houck, if you put him side by side with his former teammate, now foe, and Chris Sale with the Braves, you know, Sale, if you switched his handedness to a righty, he's so identical to Tanner Houck. Tanner learned a lot from Chris Sale during their time in Boston. He has a 1.65 year race so far and 5 starts this season. He's been off to a great start with the way the Red Sox have been swinging the bat, thanks to guys like Tyler O'Neill, who's been absolutely ripping dingers. Another former Cardinal that they gave up on too soon. It's almost like the Cardinals have an organizational problem on giving up on outfielders a little too soon, right? Randy Rosarena, Adolis Garcia, you know, what's the guy's name? Isaiah Pala something. I'm going to butcher the last name that's now at the Rays, of course, that's having production. I digress. I'm going to hammer the Boston Red Sox today. Boston Red Sox money line. We're going to put 20 down there to actually, know what? Because the odds aren't overly great on -140, we're going to put 30 down to win 21. Again, good luck to everyone that does, in fact, decide to tail. If not, that's perfectly fine. But guys, you can get all your slates. You can get your live updated games and bet with ease with our great friends at BetUS. So check them out and sign up today with our 125% bonus with your first 3 deposits. That, again, you can utilize by clicking the link down below. So shout out to BetUS as always for all your sports betting needs, and thank you all so much for hearing me out as we break down our picks and parlays in our pregame coverage that will be kicking off plenty on this week. So be on the lookout for that one. Let's go Rangers tonight, 100%. You said it best, Dave. 100%, brother. Big game for the Rangers as they try to sweep the Washington Capitals. And if you're in here and a Caps fan, I apologize if you get offended. At the same time, though, F the Caps. You know, like, I'm a diehard Rangers fan. I'm so excited to see what Breadman and that entire squad has in store tonight. Game is, I think, around 8 p.m. Eastern. I got a long drive after the show today, so I'm not going to be too long-winded here, everybody. I'm going to wrap things up in the next 4 to 5 minutes, but before I do, I definitely want to hear your thoughts on what's going on. Wardy, I bought one of the new jerseys. Did you, Eric? Awesome to hear that. I did not get a City Connect yet. However, I do plan to, and once I get a City Connect, I think I'm going to give it away. And you know what? The fact that you brought that up just made me think of another thing. I want to give a massive shout out, everybody. I meant to show it sooner in the chat, but we're at a point now, sooner in the show, but we're at a point now, you know, almost at the 50-minute mark where I have to show it now before we wrap things up. And that is an awesome follower of mine, great friend, Chris. Shout out to you, Chris. You know who you are. Was beyond generous enough to gift me a Mets game-used base. And this isn't just any game-used base, everybody. He won this at a Mets game giveaway a year or two ago. And this base is very special, especially for a guy by the name of Mark Vientos. If you're wondering why this base is special, and if you maybe want to get your hands on it, let me know, because I think we may do a big giveaway with it, especially Vientos continues to thrive. Basically, Vientos becomes a mainstay on the roster this year. I do intend on giving this away because I know that one of you amazing Mets fans would certainly enjoy it. I love it as well, but I know that one of you guys can certainly appreciate maybe a little bit more than I currently can, just given what's going on in my life and bouncing around a lot between different rooms, different houses and stuff. But we got a Mark Vientos base, guys. And to be clear, game used, second base, Mets versus Pirates, September 15th, 2022. Why is that important? That is the on-field base for Mark Vientos' first career hit and RBI. Yes, guys, this is Mark Vientos' first career hit and RBI base that the Mets had there at second base during the game against the Pirates in September 15th of 2022. Yes, Marky V, I've been waiting to unveil this because he hasn't done anything for the Mets yet this year. But yes, Marky V, his first hit, his first RBI, he touched this bag rounding second base, and this is before they changed the bags too to make them bigger than what they are now. So this is easier for you to say hang up on your wall than say the current bases that they got going. So again, shout out to my amazing friend Mike, pardon me, not, why did I say Mike? I don't know, I read some in the chat, I think. Shout out to my amazing friend Chris for the generosity, and be on the lookout, guys, because this may be in your possession at some point this season. And it looks so sick. Let me show you guys the other angles. I'm going to just put the mic down for a second. Very cool. You know, it's funny enough. I was texting Chris like a week or two ago, and he was like, you know, when do you intend on giving that base away if you give it away? And I was like, you know what? I actually don't intend on doing anything with that at the moment because Vientos isn't on the team. You know, there's gonna be a lack of interest. I gotta wait for some Vientos hype to happen. And right now we got some Vientos hype. So again, if he stays on the roster and he continues to ball out the way that he is right now, do not be surprised if we part ways with that Vientos space. But for now, I'll hold on to it. But again, I know you guys like it. Eric, thank you for the hype too. I appreciate that. And thank you guys and gals for hearing from our amazing sponsors today at Sora MLB and BetUS. And man, oh man, what a game. What a whirlwind, folks. Just this had every emotion imaginable. It really did. A crazy game that goes in the Mets' favor. They win in walkout fashion. The Yanks beat the Brewers for you, Mets fan. Thank you. I appreciate it. We hate those frauds. We do. Yanks are a good baseball team, but Yanks are a good baseball team where we expect them to play good. Brewers are frauds. Brewers are still a team that I'm not buying in yet. Not buying their hot start just yet. I look at the Reds. I look at the Cubs. And to an extent, look at the Pirates. And I think that those are all teams that could be better than the Brewers this year. But naturally, the Brewers are going to be one of the top 3 teams. They very well could be the top or second best team in that division this year. But I have my reservations. But the Brewers are so good defensively. They're very analytically minded. They're very savvy. Even after losing David Stearns, things have not changed negatively much with Matt Arnold there at GM. That's why the Mets interviewed him too not all that long ago. But guys and gals, that is going to do it for the live show. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I want to significantly thank everyone that went out of their way with the memberships today, with Kish, with Ann, and also with Daniel. You guys really meant the world to me today. Again, you have no idea how much that contribution means to me and how much it impacts my daily life and what I'm able to do here. So thank you guys so much. My new members, happy to have you guys here. Hope you enjoyed the post-game coverage, and be on the lookout as, again, we'll be covering basically every Mets game throughout the league. We're going to have pregame coverage multiple days this week too. Update the Discord link in your bio. I know it's expired. Yes, there's a hiccup I have on that front I still need to work on. Thank you though, Tyler. I appreciate it. And thank you all so much again for watching. Mets win a massive one by a final score of 4-2. They not only salvage their series, they stay afloat above 500, and they live to fight another day. So until then, have a great rest of your night, evening, whenever you're watching this. And this is your boy Wardy signing out. Let's go Mets, baby.